our battle of the middle of the pack right now. We've got Tyler versus blitzchung coming right up, and Tyler is at 4-2, so it's just under there, say middle of the pack, but still a couple of wins can put him to the top. And then blitzchung is at 3-3 so far, so you know whoever wins here is going to help just propel themselves and try and catch Glory, Dawn, and Shaxi up in Division B, because these two are the ones that are just on the cusp of making that top 3. But let's take a look at the decks and see what we've got coming up. It is going to be a Bomb Warrior from Thailand.
Yes, and it's rocking the Geppetto Joybuzz in the primary. We saw Surrender bringing this last week, and I think it's very consistent in its game plan of just trying to get there more with the early game. It's also got the double Devastators, which I think this type of list, while it is still just a warrior, which has the great shell of control cards, it just has a lot of stuff that you can play on curve. And because you're cutting things like Weapons Project on Harrison, you run the Geppetto Joybuzz for both additional cycle and the added benefit of having perhaps cheap Devastators or cheap Dynamatics.
Yeah, I think the longer time goes on, we're going to see more and more of Geppetto in decks, because the fact it not only draws 2 cards, which is just decent card draw, of course, but also there's so much space right now, or so many decks right now that play cards with good battle cries, that for 1 mana, even if it's a 1/1, the battle cry is so good. I've seen Geppetto being played a lot in Shaman. I know I was playing a Jambray Shaman list that ran it, and you realize all the battle cries and the generation effects, that this guy just always draws good cards, and you can always play them very cheaply going forward. But let's see what his opponent is going to be playing. It's going to be blitzchung, and maybe we get to the point where this is just no longer a surprise that blitzchung is going to be playing Hunter, but he's going to play a Secret Hunter. So we checked this deck out at the start of the show today as our featured deck. It is one that interests me greatly, because it's one of the Hunter lists I've not played tons of.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure how well it lines up against Bomb Hunter. I feel like it drops a few percentage compared to Mid Hunter, but maybe has a little bit more game against Rogue and is also quite effective against Mage, and maybe that's the read that blitzchung had, is maybe a bit more Mage in the meta. But I do think that this deck is definitely one of those that has that chance of just drawing the most insane early game possible. If you get double Secret Keeper into a Secret into Sunreaver Spy, that is pretty insane. And of course, having Subject 9 at any point, except when you've drawn all your secrets, obviously is very powerful.
Yeah, and the stick out difference for me, and with my experience against this deck mainly, is that if the secrets get cooking, which they normally do, right, there's enough secrets in the deck to draw them, as well as Subject 9 as you mentioned, and then Mass Contender also pulls and plays secrets, which is insane. So if these secrets start to stack, and an Eaglehorn bow is equipped, well, unless I'm going crazy, I don't see a way for Tyler to kill weapons in his primary, at least.
You're right.
So you can't really play things without proccing secrets when there are so many secrets active, which means this Eaglehorn, I've had someone literally equip an Eaglehorn bow on 3, and I've not purposely tried to play into the secrets, but they've done upwards of like 12 damage or something silly with the bow, and you can't stop it, because if you stop the procs, then you stop playing cards, and that means then, well, you're just taking more damage anyway. So I think this Eaglehorn bow could wreak havoc against Tyler if the secrets get going early, but as you mentioned, this is all about the early game, I think, for blitzchung.
That's true, and you make a very good point about the bow, because against particularly Bomb Warrior, I was thinking maybe they don't have to walk into things like Rat Trap, which are 2 of in the deck, but you just can't play around Snipe forever. You'll have to play a minion at some point.
And like for 2 freezing.
Yeah.
Like,
they can hold off on attacking perhaps, but especially when they're in Dr. Boom mode and they need to capitalize on the rush to deal with things. I don't know if this matchup goes that late, but at some point the secrets are going to proc and the bow is going to deal quite a lot. That being said, I don't know if blitzchung wants to keep secrets as opposed to just the early game minions like the Keeper and the Sunreaver Spy.
Yeah, look at the bow keep though. That is just legit. One, it does kill the goblins, and the thing about attacking as well is Bomb Warriors evolved into a deck that a lot of the time you do try and play on curve, because it's never too shabby anyway. And also, the strength of it is your minions can, as well as shuffling bombs and stuff, go toe-to-toe with other early curve minions. And if you negate the attacking side of that, and the Hunter player does have 1 or 2 of these early minions, then even that early damage starts stacking up, and then if something gets freezing trapped, then suddenly you're on half health, and then you have to spend the whole game surviving instead of being proactive. Did blitzchung throw 2 secrets to get 2 secrets?
That is exactly what I chuckled at. Yep. But given that the deck is running 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 secrets, no, 7, I can't count. 7 secrets in total, that is relatively likely, I would say. And you bring up a good point about the Bomb Warrior having a lot of early game, because sometimes their hand just forces them to play stuff. And when they play stuff, the hunter is happy because they proc secrets. And when it comes to that kind of early game battle, I think the hunter has a leg up because their secrets should, in theory, allow them to have more efficient removal.
Yeah, so secret ordering is important now. I believe we'll see the freezing trap first because it's the least likely to get procced, which means you can guarantee more of the choice of Mass Contender or Bow, probably Bow, because you know there's no removal. And then after Bow, you can move into, in which the secret probably still doesn't get procced, even the freezing trap. So then you move into Mass Contender and then so on and so on. So I believe that's roughly the ordering blitzchung would look for, maybe. With the lack of minion this turn, so there's no minion coined out, this is better instead of going Bow first. But if there was, say, a Goblin played out on coin or an Acolyte, it would have been very likely to see the Bow from blitzchung.
And he discovers Rat Trap too from the Mass Contender. That's a pretty good one. Although Tyler, I think, is just going to take this as slow as possible.
Right.
He did not have to test snipe with coining a minion there. He could just chill out. And he can just use this Wrench Caliber to deal with the Life Drinker. I guess Snake Trap would be mildly annoying for him here, but he'll find out that it's not Snake.
And you already start to see the difference in playstyle that this Secret Hunter forces players to just change their general style. Because if you just run into the secrets kind of, you know, willy-nilly, then you're going to fall even further and further behind, which is what the deck excels at.
Exactly. So now blitzchung, he is hesitating on the Animal Companion because no matter what it is, it dies to Dinomatic, and if it's Huffer, it dies to what he can already see in the Wrench Caliber.
I think he'll want to equip Bow, because right now, Animal Comp plus Secret feels good, because even if they play a Dinomatic, it kills it. But Snipe also does 3 damage at some point, because it can proc the Bow durability. So I think if you go a little bit slower, it means that the Dynamatic won't be played anyway, and then you can play secrets that like Snipe next turn.
Yeah. It could be funny because we could just see a hero power war between these two at some point. And the hero powers directly cancel each other out. But at some point, that being turn 7, Tyler is going to have the superior hero power and just the ability to start holding off on playing too many minions. Sorry, it had to stop holding off on playing too many minions, and then he can play them all at once. And it's when there's too many minions at once that the hunter struggles, because the traps can only proc one of the attacks at a time.
Right. I think this Bow is just such an MVP in this specific game here, because blitzchung just knows it never dies, which means he can be as free as he wants with having these charges. He kills off the Acolyte to give Tyler the least amount of draws. That seems sensible. The old Eaglehorn Bow versus Acolyte of Pain fight goes all the way to the beginning of time. But this means that it might look like a bit rough because blitzchung's on 1 durability, but if Tyler plays a minion, then he's on 2 durability and so on.
The thing is, does Tyler need to play minions? He can go boom mode and just wait for blitzchung to do something. And I think it eventually evens out because he'll get the blast shield every once in a while, and that will cancel 3.5 hero powers from the hunter.
But this is the issue now, right?
Okay, now he has to do something.
So Tyler has to respond, and in responding, he probably procs a secret, which means the Bow hits him for 3.
Oh, now okay, he can proc Snipe, but then now he can clear everything just with hero power and the Dinomatic. blitzchung's on 2 cards, so what if he gets a Bow charge? My goodness, this is just brutal for the hunter, having to deal with boom on curve.
Yeah, what was really good, and I think one of the huge parts of this game, was Tyler being able to shield slam the Mass Contender.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't happen often, that you can do that. And that means that you have to answer Mass Contender with a minion. So much earlier in the game, these secrets would start snowballing. But for now, as you said, blitzchung's looking a little bit low on hand size, and a little bit low on value here, as Tyler's very safely got to Dr. Boom on curve.
He might even just Zilliax and pass here, because if he doesn't play any minions, neither does Tyler. And if Tyler never plays minions, he never attacks. If he never attacks, none of the secrets get proc. I just don't see how blitzchung can win by waiting. even with a Zul'jin loaded up, it's just gonna repeat a lot of the secrets and not override the ones that are already there. And Tyler, knowing that he proc snipe, he can play minions, but he's under no pressure to attack with them. And the second he does attack, he will make sure that he has an answer for all of these. Bear in mind, all the players have access to deck tracker, so that also makes it a lot easier to keep track of what secrets you've tested for already.
Swing now with the baited arrow isn't too shabby, along with even the secret keeper into snakes if he really wanted. But you are right, blitzchung does have to work out how he gets there because he didn't have the snowbally start with the minion-heavy opening. He's going to hold the secret keeper, not play too heavily into a brawl or even a warpath.
So Tyler, he can proc snakes and use the kaboom to immediately get rid of them. Now it's looking like he might just not attack. Ooh. 1 mana boom. There's 2 bombs in deck, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 1 swing of the wrench, 1... Oh no, it's 3, right? None have gone off and he had Elec down.
Oh, yeah.
So the Elec Goblin says 3. Deadly shot, not too shabby.
Tyler just doesn't mind if the 5/5 can attack face, and blitzchung doesn't necessarily even want to. But I'm pretty sure this turn will look like Zilliax and Deadly Shot, but if he chooses to use his weapon to guarantee Deadly Shot onto the 6/6,
he'll never.
Yeah, so he will use the 5/5 to trade into the 1/3, I'm pretty sure. But then that is just another turn of missed face damage.
You can just... Oh, interesting, okay.
Yeah.
You could always just go face.
But you don't guarantee the Deadly on the Geppetto, which...
Well, he attacks with it, gets frozen, and he has to play a 10-mana Geppetto.
That's fair,
like,
yeah.
Cool, and then you gain a durability on your bow. I think face would have been fine there, to be honest.
Sure, yeah, I can see that.
And now, the filthy warrior things.
Like, how filthy is this even? I mean, obviously...
4 mana, deal 10.
Okay.
Even without rush, that's filthy.
It is crazy, but we should be used to seeing it from warrior by now, is what I mean.
It doesn't change how bad it is. Or good it is, should I say. Oh, Zul, okay, that was one of the better cards he could draw.
Hunter just looks so sad. But what does he play aside from secrets?
He can just replay secrets like Snipe. Or exactly Snipe.
Yeah, because everything else is filled up already. This is looking real bad for blitzchung.
Yeah.
Granted, he has the secondary deck with double Highmane, double Frenzy, and a second Unleash the Beast. But that doesn't shore up the early game.
I think
Not necessarily.
I think his early game is fine. He just didn't draw it this game. He
True.
drew a Mass Contender and nothing else early game-wise. And bear in mind, he has double Animal Companion, double Sunreaver Spy, double Secret Keeper, double Mass Contender, like even the Life Drinkers. All of these things should have a very consistent curve. He just didn't draw into him. Look at the amount of secrets he's drawn when he could have drawn Subject 9 that did this for him, as opposed to 1 secret a turn.
I do suppose this is one of those decks that has the quote-unquote high roll curve, which I don't want to call it just a high roll deck, but I do think it's very reliant on having that snowball, and it's built for this purpose. And when you're bringing this type of deck, you should be aware that there is a strong chance that every game, well, not necessarily every game, but some games, you just don't get that high roll curve, and the rest of your game plan is ruined.
Well, I think that's more true against exactly Bomb Warrior. Because if you're against any aggro deck, they can't not attack.
True.
So your secrets gain instant value every time, and you can solo the game with a bow. Against Rogue, they can't really just not attack. Against almost any, even Mage, you have answers to, in terms of how much of a threat Freezing Trap is, as well.
Yeah.
Deadly Shot, so on, so on. So I think this is potentially one of the roughest matchups to play this version of Hunter against.
That's a very strong point. As for blitzchung, drawing the Unleash the Beast there, probably the best thing he could have gotten. Not to say that it'll be enough to get him the game, but at least now it loads up the Zul'jin a little bit so that once Tyler deals with this and blitzchung refills with Zul'jin, he will necessitate a board clear from Tyler.
Right.
And Tyler does have double Brawl, but doesn't have any in hand right now.
See, even now, I mean, this might sound really biased just because I like Hunter, but even now with the 3 charges on the bow, the hero power and, you know, let's say, a kill command, that's a lot of damage from blitzchung. Yes, he has to survive and not die in that time, but you can see against a different deck that does have to attack and can't wait how powerful the deck can be.
Beryllium
This is
Nullifier
scary,
buff coming
Yeah.
in for that extra 1 damage, but yeah, you're right.
I don't think it's going to do it here, obviously, but you see that you can get relatively close even in a bad scenario. Oh, so where were you 10 turns ago, Mr. 9? Let's see what blitzchung can get done. He does really
Christmas
have
tree
all these
again.
secrets, and unfortunately for him, the freezing trap was activated first. Oh, wait, never mind, he can rush into this bomb. Never mind, he doesn't have to rush into this bomb.
So that was a lot of stuff for 10 mana, but
Yep. Bear
Warrior
in mind,
has-
there's all the secrets about the Christmas tree is there, but it's got no lights on it, so it's just green.
green could be a color of light.
Yeah, but the tree itself's normally green as well, isn't
Sure,
it?
sure. Explosive, freezing, rat, snake, and snipe. If anybody was wondering, there's no misdirection in the package, although sometimes Mass Contender could discover it.
This Misha is clutch as well, right? Because we can see, well, any mech can be used to proc, but he also has to get through the Misha after proccing the freezing trap. It was a very good hero power for Tyler.
Oh, 1 mana, 4/1 rush. That is broken.
That card would be sick, wouldn't it? He's gonna take 5. I could barely even see, so he's...
Ooh, was that a bit of misordering, Tyler, there about the snipe? Granted, I don't think it'll matter in the grand scheme of things,
Well,
but
hang on.
I do think he would have wanted
Is-
to play a different minion there.
Yeah, and also,
Unity. Precision.
so he heals for a lot here. So he is on 30, and blitzchung's obviously on 10, which isn't good. But blitzchung does have a chance.
I don't see it, Raven.
I mean, this big guy's dead.
Yes, but Tyler has way more mechs in hand. It's just the fact that Zul'jin has been used already. So the big swing turn is over, and from here on, blitzchung only does fair
Three to
things.
face.
But the thing is, Tyler does not do fair things because he's on boom mode. He's also got shield block for emergency health gain, should that ever be a concern.
He's going to draw 3 now anyway. This Omega Devastator doing very powerful things as well, because blitzchung over the course of a couple of turns could, with the correct draw or two, get there in terms of the damage needed. But the problem is cards like Omega Devastator and Bombs help speed up the clock dramatically for Tyler and slow down the clock for blitzchung.
Yep. Blitzchung showing his last signs of life here. Tyler went off lethal with the kaboom. That's pretty funny.
Rough for blitzchung as well that this, with the trade, the kaboom actually kills off the Wyvern as well. It's rough just because it means that even if he draws another kill command, he can't quite get there.
Can you imagine if Blitzchung just spends the next... Okay, never mind. That hero power was
Oh,
lethal. Oh, and this
wow.
bomb is lethal.
Wow.
But I was fully expecting a world where Blitzchung just has to keep dealing with the boards and then swing face for 3 every turn, and we just wait for Tyler to roll the next kaboom. But he did get that last bomb there, and that was, not gonna lie, pretty painful to watch. Or even not that there were any big misplays on Blitzchung's part, and we did even see an error on Tyler's part with the rush minion, I think,
Right.
going into the snipe. But that is just a complete blowout.
It is, yeah. I mean, so I'll just be the optimist for the Hunter for now, but there was, what, 16 to 17 cards, I think, in Blitzchung's deck with those bombs in as well. He drew 2 of them more or less turn after turn, which did pretty much kill him because he wasn't exactly dead to Tyler's hand straight away. And even with the shield block, there was enough damage from the bow and a kill command and hero power that after maybe 2 more turns, he was threatening Tyler's health pool a little bit. He got down to, I think, 19 or 20, which with a kill command, a weapon swing, a hero power, and a beast adds up fairly quickly. So there was a chance, but again, the play into the snipe was a big problem because it made the clear into Misha way harder than it needed to be. So obviously if Tyler had just played around snipe a little bit, then that game would have sped up very quickly anyway.
And I do think that the real story here anyway is if the secondary deck from blitzchung can perform, because I'm almost certain he's going to be switching onto that, which is removing one secret, one freezing trap, and a bunch of other of these aggro defensive cards, and he's going to put in double Dire Frenzy, double High Main, and that is probably going to help a lot against Warrior.
Yeah, it will, and also make the game plan a little bit more, or at least give him an additional game plan. He doesn't have to get the minions into secret super early and get them rolling for all that early damage, which is what he missed in the last game. He would actually have to, he can just go slow with high mains and Dire Frenzy as well. But there are also tools that Tyler could change into. His options are along the more of a control matchup, which I doubt he's going to go for in his secondary list, which has cards like Ken, Grandmaster Hellscream, and Elysiana. But Tyler has actually moved on to his tertiary list, which looks a little bit more reasonable to me, which is the additional Town Crier, 2 weapons project. We can check out the deck for you guys so you can actually see that. This is Tyler's, right? Yes. So it's the additional Town Crier, 2 weapons project, a Spellbreaker, and a Harrison, which is very important. And all he's losing is Geppetto, 2 Omega Assemblies, the Augmented Elk, and the 1 Omega Devastator. So although we saw the power of Omega Devastator in the previous game, I feel like the game is actually way better for Tyler.
Yeah, you say only the 2 assemblies, but I feel like that's also a pretty big loss, is all that value generation. And now Tyler is going for more of an aggressive game plan, I'd say. Like, the Harrison Jones is obviously a great addition because that is just gonna clear an Eagle Horn Bow, could get you up to 5 or even more draws, and that offsets the draw you lose from Geppetto Joybuzz. But I think looking at blitzchung's secondary, it might go into a value fatigue game just because of the presence of the frenzies, and he can get up to 4 activations, including the Zul'jin.
Yeah, I guess that's why I think the removal of the Omega Assemblies is fine, because the problem here is the value fatigue game for blitzchung is high mains and tons of Dire Frenzies. Like, those things will beat most value plays from Warrior in terms of how quickly and consistently they can generate them. Because also, even though Dr. Boom is a fantastic hero card, it's not consistent in what its hero power does. Whereas if you start just slamming high main after high main against Warrior, well, even if you play Omega Devastator, it doesn't actually clean up a high main. It's one of the few minions in the game that it doesn't actually just kill by itself.
Yep.
So I think if it goes too slowly, that blitzchung will actually just win, because he still has his secrets to mess around with. He still has Zul'jin to go for the big late game, but he has these Dire Frenzies which could make him go a long, long way extra.
It's a strong point, and this makes me very curious about how this game will actually pan out, because we saw last time that Tyler did not have to play aggressively at all, because he would win in the late game, given that the Zul'jin from blitzchung only had pretty much secrets in it. And now Tyler, if he wants to win in the late game, well, it's much more difficult because he doesn't have those Omega Assemblies, but now that means he has to play in the early game, which kind of walks into the secrets from blitzchung, so now I'm confused.
And I think this is one of the first times, we've talked a lot about secondary and tertiary decks, right? It's a huge part of the specialist format, of course, but I think this is one of the first times where I feel like taking a loss game 1 isn't that bad, because if blitzchung is, in this matchup specifically, if blitzchung is like, okay, game 1 I might win, I'll probably lose, games 2 and 3 I'm just going to win, because my deck I've got built for this is so much better than what my opponent can do. It's almost like an LHS style thing, where if you lose the first game, but then you can counter so hard that your opponent doesn't have stuff in their lineup to actually beat you. I think this is the first time this has reminded me of that, because this feels like it should be a nightmare for Tyler to deal with.
Yeah, I can see that. I do think that the way Tyler will have to win this is through that window between when you've kind of dealt with the early game from the Hunter in terms of their secrets and those curve out minions, and between that window and when they've set up the high mains into the frenzies, into the Zul'jin. And that is probably a narrow window, so I think Tyler will have to navigate this perfectly, and there's no room for error with things like the Militia Commander into the Snipe this game.
I'm pretty sure, though, that from my experience casting Tyler, the times he has misplayed, he normally does tighten it up very quickly afterwards as well. And so if he feels like that was a mistake, then I'm pretty sure now laser focus will be switched on, because not only does he want to win, he also wants to play well, which is something that most of the players rate very, very highly, sometimes even above winning I've heard some players in the past say all they care about is playing as well as you can possibly play the game, even if you lose.
And I think that is the mark of a truly dedicated player, and I like to see that type of attitude. The mulligan for blitzchung is already very interesting here. When you play the normal mid-hunter without the secrets, I'd say Unleash the Beast is a keep. But because blitzchung has so much more potential for a strong curve, I like that he tosses it out. I'm not sure about the mark shot keep, because it seems like this type of hand will put you in the position of aggressor, and so you maybe don't want to be using the mark shot to answer stuff and try instead to look for a secret. But
I do think though that if blitzchung has slipped in, as I say slipped, that makes it sound like a mistake, has moved himself into the mindset of, oh, I'll just high main him, it's fine, then maybe you want the mark shot to negate that window that you talked about earlier of Tyler breaking through with some minions and some pressure. Maybe the mark shot just kills something and stops something stupid happening. And maybe that discovers a secret. You never know.
I think blitzchung might just be playing a River Croc this turn, which feels bad, but the hand kind of just tells him to hold out until Unleash the Beast.
Doesn't die to the weapon, so even if it pushes 2 to 4 damage, that's pretty good.
Tyler, his first instinct is to Acolyte of Pain there, and it looks good because on board it could get 2 draws. I'm trying to think of what the punish is, and it seems like I was gonna say either re-equip of Eagle Horn, in which case you're happy because he's overriding his weapon, or exactly Animal Companion into either Leok or Huffer.
That'll do.
Yep.
Really good pickup for blitzchung, because I think he would have considered just overwriting the bow, the weapon with the bow to remove the value there. And also as well, not only does it remove the card draw, it stops the Sunreaver being traded into.
So now Tyler can easily use Militia Commander to deal with this board along with his weapon, and he's already got Boom in hand on 7. So the game plan for having that window open, I think this is the hand to do it. And all these minions from Tyler having 3 health at the end of it is making life very awkward for blitzchung. Just the Life Drinker would be my instinct here. I wouldn't be too worried about leaving up a 2-3 because it's not a mech. And I feel like the mark shot is a little bit too slow. But then again, we were saying that blitzchung can take the stance of the late game player in this game. In which case you would want to squeeze the value out of all your minions as much as possible. And
I think Mark Shot would have been okay. I think either way you're probably considering coin into Unleash the Beast. Because what's nice to do a lot of the time is leave a warrior hanging on turn 5, because they often don't have anything great to just do. You know, without you having minions on board to just actually play. Do you see that Town Crier, even with the Goblin follow-up, is just completely reasonable. The double trade in the Life Drinker, though, starts to push Tyler a little bit low on health.
I don't know if he wants to double trade this necessarily. I think Tyler was hoping to pick up the second Militia there for sure. Right. Unfortunately got the Ziliax instead. But he is going to take the double trade, I suppose, to prevent any frenzy shenanigans.
Yeah, and if you don't double trade now, you probably take 3 anyway. And there might be some secrets that make the follow-up even harder.
So blitzchung can coin into Unleash the Beast, and then the next turn play it again. That's always something powerful to do against Warrior.
And not only does it remove almost every minion that Warrior even has, or value trade against almost every minion Warrior has, should I say, it also puts them in the pool. They're just in the Zul'jin pool straight away.
Looking at it now, it's like blitzchung is just playing normal mid-range hunter if you just ignore the Eagle Horn bow. The snipe could very well have come from a Shimmerfly.
That's true.
But yeah, just goes to show you how much can change in the mulligan and the mentality when you just switch into your secondary deck when only 5 cards are different. Sometimes the entire game plan changes as well. Tyler can just equip the Ziliax onto the Rover and take the trade, or he could have the Ziliax separate. I don't think having just the one big minion would be beneficial for him because he knows it's going to get traded by the Unleash the Beast twin spell.
It's one thing I hate the most when I'm playing against Hunter. playing into their turn 6 or 7.
Yeah.
When you know they have it. It's the same playing against Mage. It's just Twin Spell, right? When you're playing against Mage when they've Conjureds and you can't clear the board, you're like, I know you can play it next turn. So annoying.
I'm actually quite surprised he magnetized this because he knows the other Unleash the Beast is there.
I guess he's okay just gaining the health and the armor,
Yeah.
right?
So he loses 2 additional health, I think, this way. Barring... Okay, it's tough to say that conclusively because you don't know what the
what's gonna
1-3
happen,
would have,
right,
yeah, would have healed you in theory. But yeah, this just looked pretty clean for blitzchung, so I think I would have not magnetized it there.
Ooh, is this gonna actually be removal on this 5-1?
Oh man.
Shield Slam.
Then again, what are the better targets for Shield Slam in this deck?
High mains.
Sure. And I suppose this thing if it gets Dire Frenzy.
Just
But
gained 5 damage. Baited arrow.
Wow.
Good card.
yes, that is absolutely insane versus Warrior.
Oh, this is scary. There's not even been high mains or Dire Frenzies yet, and this is looking scary for Tyler.
I feel like he maybe had to Shield Slam there, but I don't blame him for holding on to it because of the threat of high mains, as you mentioned.
Like, if he boom Shield Slams now, he just took 5 extra damage for nothing.
But I think he has to bite the bullet and go for it here. Because he's just going to take another 5 next turn. What?
He's not.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, rolling this hero power is pretty good. And
Okay.
that is insane. And now he won't have... Okay, he has shield block to put the armor back
still.
on, but yeah,
So this could have been removed and stopped,
ages ago, yeah.
what, 13 damage extra?
Something like that.
13
For the price of a shield
Wow.
slam.
That slots in very nicely. The problem, so the problem Blitzchung has right now is that he knows there's a militia commander in hand.
Yes.
So if he snipes, what the snipe effectively achieves is giving his weapon 1 extra swing.
Yeah.
But does he need to with Eagle Horn Bow number 2 in hand? Probably not, so maybe he holds the snipe. He doesn't have Zul'jin, so it means he doesn't want to just get the snipe in the pool, use it, and then be able to replay Zul'jin and replay the snipe. So I actually think after a bit of consideration, he probably wants to hold it, especially because this militia commander kills the 8-4 so well.
Yes. I think you hit the nail on the head there. That is exactly everything going through Blitzchung's head, and with this attack, it means he's definitely not going to play snipe. So
100%.
Tyler gonna rip the shield slam now, and hindsight is always 20/20. Oh, okay, so he's gonna use the commander this way. So he's really holding on to the shield slam. And I guess there's more reason for it now that he knows there's a bunch of 8/8s in the deck for Blitzchung because of the Dire Frenzy.
Also as well for this play, which is actually going to be very good, which is Silent Shield Slam,
Yes.
which just clean kills a high main, you've won the board, and Blitzchung just spent his whole turn playing this 1 minion that you just instantly get to kill.
And he's also got Blast Shield to slot on top of the turn. Very clean. But we were talking about that window of pushing damage for Tyler. This is that window. He's on boom mode. Blitzchung does not have Zul'jin active yet, and Blitzchung has kind of run out of threats. He's still got the baited arrow though.
Oh,
But yeah, Tyler doesn't have too many threats of his own to push the initiative.
he does that. This game's nuts. So Blitzchung just drew Secret Keeper, which activates Mass Contender. He has the Eagle Horn Bow as well. But then Tyler also drew Weapons Project into Harrison,
Yeah.
which is huge. But the problem with that is it draws cards and breaks the bow, but Harrison also gets sniped.
Yep.
So it's such like, it feels so back and forth right now. And there's 3 8/8s in Blitzchung's deck with Rush and still Zul'jin.
Yes. I mean, Zul'jin's deck, I think, is of a higher quality than Tyler's, but what Tyler can draw into is a lot of bomb generators, I suppose, and that can put Blitzchung on a timer, essentially, because there are no scale heights in any of the decks he's running. And so, effectively, no way of healing beyond the 5 armor from Zul'jin.
So now Tyler has, I think, a certainty. He knows exactly what those 2 secrets are because he traded into a minion and he hit base, which activates Explosive Freezing and Snake. The only 2 secrets left are Rat and Snipe.
Yes.
So Tyler will not be surprised to see this snipe. It's not mind-blowing at all, but it's 5 mana, draw 3 cards, and remove the weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a solid card anyway.
We take those even though it doesn't have the 5/4 body on top of it. Now blitzchung. Mid Hunter kind of sucks when you can't run Master's Call, huh?
Yes.
Granted, he's still got things to do, and Tyler is not drawing the bomb generators. Okay, he's got the wrench caliber, that's pretty good. But the rest of his hand is reactive.
It's a very strange game right now, isn't it?
For sure.
These hero powers keep summoning these bots is actually pretty sick for Tyler.
Yeah.
It's normally one of the ones you're not really a massive fan of, but when you have nothing else to do, just putting more stuff on the board is pretty sick.
True. I mean, that one and the Discover a Mech one are Tyler's best
Yeah.
hero power options, I think, because he's at such a safe health total now that he doesn't need the blast shield at the moment. He just needs to use this window. And bear in mind, Tyler's on 7 cards left, and this is the tertiary deck, which is not running Elysiana. It's just got a bunch of bomb stuff left, from what I can see. It's also not got Omega Assemblies. So Tyler, this is pretty much what he has left to work with. Handful of scrappy minions and the boom hero power.
One of the problems as well is, even with the shuffle bombs in, blitzchung still has Zul'jin.
Yeah.
Which means not only does he gain 5 armor, he probably ends up die frenzying something, which means it's even more cards in the deck, which reduces the chance of chain drawing mobs. Misha, a pretty good roll, should I say, on the Animal Companion.
For sure.
The Unleash the Beast going to trade off into the Dinomatic, which is going to reduce this board state down pretty low. Tyler again with the clutch Dr. Boom hero powers. Not that he now needs them, because he's just drawn Dinomatic off the top, so he can push the 3 damage to face instead of clearing a minion. This is looking fantastic.
Yep. I think Tyler knows that he has to be the aggressor in this small window left. Blitzchung in the last turn, I like that he used Unleash the Beast there because it was the most awkward to fit in with the rest of his cards, because you can't go for a baited Unleash turn. So I like that he parceled out the mana this way. And now he'll be able to go for a baited and kill command. I don't think he wants to play the Dire Frenzy even next turn, because he really severely needs Zul'jin. Clockwork Goblin, another bomb, but the Dinomatic very cleanly kills this 5/5 as well.
I think you just go Dino, right? It's too good. Just 5 mana, flip the board. But Tyler, as you can see on the screen there, next to his name will go up to a 5-2 record if he beats Blitzchung, whereas Blitzchung is fighting to go positive overall in Grandmasters so far, and Tyler's looking decent though. It's rough.
I mean, I was wondering a bit about taking the Goblin and then start Wrench Caliber face, because Tyler knows that the second Zul'jin gets... Oh, he's catching in the Frenzy now, which means Zul'jin is technically farther away.
The problem is Tyler doesn't care about Zul'jin, right? He has double brawl.
Sure.
So I think he's just doing everything he can to make sure he doesn't take unneeded damage and just die. And he just keeps generating stuff. It's insane. But like, because he has brawl into brawl, Tyler just needs to not die and maybe push some damage. And the best way there is not leave a 5/5 on the board, which I do really like. Because you just don't leave 5, even if you push 3 extra damage over the course of the game because of it. It adds up, but
makes a lot of
gasp
sense.
of surprise and shock indeed.
So Christmas tree,
Zul'jin.
double Dire Frenzy, Mark Shot, Unleash the
Tyler's
Beast.
response is like, "Ugh." Okay, well, let's just sit back and watch what happens.
Both of them are green.
Oh, that's a lot of damage.
It is insane.
Sick Mark shot.
Oh, he has Unleashed the Hounds. It's like the good old days of watching Yogg. Oh my god.
That's 20 damage.
We're no longer casting Hearthstone. This is
face.
Casters React to
someone's
Hearthstone
face, yeah.
video.
Wait for the next one next week. Other casters react to casters reacting to this.
Okay.
Oh, 22 cards. Okay, and about 1,000 wyverns.
1,000 is about
Unleash
right.
the wyverns. And it's just the 20 damage to face. Is insane.
Look at this little microbot facing down the entire zoo.
Yeah. This is Wally at his best. Brawl, no surprise. I've got a funny feeling the bot's gonna win.
I have that feeling too.
This is gonna reinforce everything I've been taught about the little guy always wins in the end. And if the little dude does not win,
Oh,
nope,
first one out.
Everything I know about life has been destroyed.
Okay, but Tyler still got the Devastator. And I've not kept good track of how many bombs are left in the deck, but I'm certain that that's Tyler's only chance of winning at this point, barring some insane Mechathune shenanigans if he discovers it. Because...
I mean, yes and no. There's still another wrench caliber, right? And there's a bomb.
Sorry, I just meant the bomb game plan.
Oh, sorry,
is his only chance of winning. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, Tyler's lost. He should concede now.
Oh no. I mean, blitzchung's on 8 with no scale hides and no way of healing.
Oh, he's working out whether he should mark shot. I think he should.
What kind of spell would he be looking for? Master's Call, perhaps?
Master's Call,
Yeah.
a kill command.
Yeah.
Like, I think spending the mana now to do the job your hero power would do anyway seems fine. Even if he draws another, discovers Unleash the Beast, that means he can just keep chaining them next turn. And he
like
can always
that.
make up the damage he loses by not using the hero power this turn anyway. And it keeps his Wyvern on 5 health. I think that's important.
I think it's very good to use a Marshal here, especially since Tyler might not even play a minion next turn, which means if you want to get the spell, you need to play it on your own. Oh, wow.
Pushing the damage.
Oh, okay. All right.
So he knows Tyler has the Blast Shield hero power, which is going to gain 7. So maybe blitzchung's just saying, look, he's already getting enough health. I don't want to give him more, so I want a hero power every single turn.
Okay, I can see the game plan. So Tyler, I think he's fine with using one more path to deal with this.
Yeah, it's fine. So now, blitzchung needs high main off the top. Or one of these big Wyverns.
It's all about top decking here. Tyler hopes blitzchung top decks bombs. Blitzchung hopes he top decks pressure.
Also, very important is Tyler is a god at these hero powers.
Yeah.
That hero power puts blitzchung to 5, which is boom range.
Yes. One bomb and a dream. And Tyler's approaching fatigue.
He can't. Blitzchung can't discover anything that heals him, right?
I don't see a way. It would have to be like microtech chip.
Wait, he's not used double life drinker this game, right? So Master's Call into a life drinker heals him for 3?
Yeah, that's still in the secondary deck. You're right.
It's
right.
like, I think the only thing, because he doesn't have anything that gives a minion lifesteal. And he has no base minions that have lifesteal anyway, so
no scale heights.
that's the extreme level that Blitzchung has to go to heal. And Blitzchung knows he's taking 3 next turn to face. He knows it.
And I think he's forced to unleash the beast here.
Blast Shield into the Zap Cannon is just insane.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was scared he might not play Minion, and I was like, is this some crazy play around Shield Slam? I mean, at least you force
He'll
Tyler
never use his removal on me. Why? I won't play.
The boom! That's gotta be game.
He can... Wait, so he can play Boom, Shield Slam the 5/5 and Warpath? Is that more damage than the hero power? On average, that works out
I
a
think
mall,
so,
right?
because he doesn't have to attack into the Unleash the Beast if he does that, and that won't proc the Snake Trap. And I think more often than not, this is lethal.
Oh, wow.
Like, with the 6 boom bots, this is on average 15 damage with the Warpath.
Do it. I mean, he also will have a 7/6 worst case scenario.
Yeah.
A 7/6, and I think what he's considering, it may be technically correct to hero power, because these boom bots always go off, in which your opponent's then on 5, which makes it way more likely they die.
Win now or win later?
6. He needs 2 bombs to do 2 or more damage, right?
What's the order that the rat trap procs? If you warpath now, does the rat trap go off and then the booms boom? Maybe that's what he's considering.
Maybe, yeah. Okay, I think this in tiny worlds make it more likely to win. I
I have
think.
no idea.
Someone will have to do the numbers because I think it's extremely likely to win if the rat doesn't go off first. If the rat does go off first, you could find yourself in some trouble, as this is pretty much Tyler's last push.
Maybe.
Because the problem is,
But now blitzchung has this window to maybe use the hounds to buffer some of the boombot damage.
but the more he buffers the damage, the more boombots live till next turn. Right?
But he has to do this.
I know he has to, but I'm saying it's not a sure thing. Is my
Sure.
point,
Oh,
right?
definitely not. Yeah.
Because the more hounds are killed, the more bombs end up being live anyway. What he does want to do, he plays the Wyvern first because the Wyvern can soak way more damage.
It's definitely the ideal ordering. And looks like the last hound survived. I don't think
He
the
can't
difference
take a
between
2.
3 and 5 probably doesn't matter as long as it doesn't go face.
No, he's
Oh,
dead.
that is GG with the kaboom hero power.
So close, but so far. Tyler takes it over blitzchung 2-0, and that puts Tyler at 5-2 record for Grandmasters so far. And blitzchung drops to 3-4, and that game was pretty cool. That game looked so even. Almost every single turn of that game felt so close. It wasn't until the very end where Dr. Boom obviously got involved, as he often does, and causes havoc, but that was so close. Even blitzchung's Zul'jin was so powerful, it would have changed. Like, for example, he didn't draw any of the buffed Huffers, which would have been huge as well in either pushing damage or just killing off Boom, for example. But that was just too much. The bombs going off at the right times. Tyler takes the win, and I'm pretty impressed so far.
Yeah, for sure. And I just look at the deck from blitzchung, and on paper it looks like it should be great against Warrior because you have High Mains and Frenzy, but looking at it, I now know why everybody chooses mid-hunter over every other form of hunter, usually, and that's purely because of Master's Call. When your Zul'jin doesn't also refill your hand, even though you get to play a big threat every turn at best, the Warrior can still just deal with that with the help of Omega Devastator, and then slowly they get to push their own damage, and the bombs just stack up and get there.
Right. I think we will see a very different level of strength from blitzchung's Hunter deck when he faces Samuel Zal's Hunter a little bit later on this weekend, because suddenly the secrets interact way better with a much more minion aggressive based build, whereas versus Warrior, I do feel like Tyler was one of the opponents you really, or any of the Warrior players to be honest, one of the opponents you really don't want to run into, because obviously, as you mentioned, with mid-range Hunter, you have a much more consistent, clear plan, and with Master's Call being one of the best Hunter cards that exists, it makes that plan even more consistent and more successful. But congratulations to Tyler, though, because going 5-2 now, he is well in contention of the top 3 spot.
Yeah.
And taking down blitzchung means he's just widening the gap of even being caught up, as well as blitzchung was directly below Tyler at the standings at the start of today.
He's creeping up there. For him, for Tyler, it might be a bit sad to see that Glory also just got a little bit more out of range, so he is chasing at his heels. But, you know, Tyler, any one of these weeks now could break into those top 3 slots, and of course that is very relevant. If anyone didn't know, top 3 advance to playoffs and get a chance to play at the World Finals.
Yeah, or a chance to qualify for that anyway. I do believe we do have Tyler ready, standing by. Can you hear me?
Yes, Raven.
Oh,
Hello.
awesome. Okay, so first off, congratulations, of course.
Thanks.
I just want to get into one of the questions I've got is, let's just break down why you brought Warrior for this submission, because post-buff, there was a lot of decks and classes that got some nice buffs and people thought were going to be popular and are very popular on ladder, which you've been obviously playing a lot of on your stream. But what made you go to Bomb Warrior this week?
I played all the new decks and they were all trash.
Okay.
And,
So you're not a Pogo Rogue fan?
No, I had a solid 48% win rate on ladder with Pogo Rogue Raven. It went
Nice.
from rank 20 legend to like 200. So no, did not believe in that deck. And then yeah, after playing all the decks, I just didn't like any decks, so I just went to the normal strat. And I like blitzchung is like so predictable. It just plays only aggro. So
Shots fired.
So I knew that Bomb Warrior, if just built like very much early game, would just destroy him. And then he decided to bring Trash Hunter.
So many shots fired.
The deck is so bad. Like I couldn't lose it in practice. So yeah,
Okay.
that was a good matchup for me.
So going on from that, if you think the deck's trash, what did you make of the secondary list? Because I feel like his secondary deck that he switched to for game 2 looked very scary from the point of the warrior, mainly just because of how powerful Dire Frenzies and High Mains, and also the extra Unleash the Beast is.
Yeah, the problem is he draws 1 card a turn, right? So even if he has like a bunch of big beasts in his deck, like by the time you saw when he had Zul'jin, he just had no cards in hand, like nothing to do, and he had 1 card a turn, and Warrior just deals with that with Dr. Boom. So
you're saying
it got
Master's
really
Call is a
close.
good card?
Yes, Master Call is a really good card, and if you play Hunter, you should probably play that over something like Masked Contender.
I wanted to ask about that last turn there where you chose not to Warpath on your board full of Boonbots, where it was maybe lethal. I don't know how likely of the time. What was your thought process that turn?
Yeah, I don't know how likely it was lethal, but I knew that it was probably 0% chance for him to get lethal, and my last card was the weapon. So even if he does some crazy clear, like I just need 2 damage to the face, right? Or even 1 because I had the hero power as well.
Yeah.
So I felt like I didn't need to take the unnecessary risk, and if I just pass, then I just win every single time.
Okay.
Yeah, and finally, just before we let you go, I just
I
want to
have
ask...
one question too, but go ahead.
Fine, we're doing 2 questions more, Tyler. You stuck here with us.
All right.
I just wanted to ask, were you surprised, especially with the performance last weekend and the buff to Christology, that more people didn't bring Holy Wrath Paladin?
Yeah, I expected blitzchung to go aggro, and I was prepared for Bloodthrill potentially going Holy Wrath Paladin, so that's why I tagged in like a Spellbreaker in the third deck.
Okay.
But I was close to bringing it myself, but knowing that blitzchung was going to go aggro, I think aggro still just destroys it, so I couldn't bring it.
Okay.
And last question, short and sweet. Why no Snip Snap?
We just didn't test it, honestly.
Okay.
And this deck works, so like just play whatever works, right?
Okay.
Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But congratulations
exactly.
again, Tyler. You're going to go 5-2 and start really competing for that top 3 spot, so good job.
Yeah, thanks.
Congratulations.
Okay, so good job for Tyler there. Blitzchung's predictability may be going to be his downfall. As it's one of the reasons Tyler literally just said, yeah, Blitzchung's going to play aggro, so I played Bomb Warrior. And honestly, even at this point, if you feel that you can go 1-on-1 each week, then that ends you in a reasonable spot, at least, if you ever go to get the 2 wins in any given week from Tyler's spot, being at 4-2, but now 5-2. So congratulations to Tyler. We've only got 1 more match left, and it's going to be Chonsu versus Alutimu. So let's see what those guys do after the break.